Well, good morning, everybody. We are heading up to victim number 11. Let's just do a quick run through what we've looked at so far. Stephanie Van Grol was number 1. Number 2, Maria Ruskovich. Then it was Dawn King. Then we had a confidential informant. And then we had 2 people that worked alongside Ken Kratz, Susan Sorensen, Rebecca Heatpus. Number 7 was Connie Palm. Numbers 8 and 9 were confidential informants. Particularly bad, of course, was number 9. Then we had Rennie Braun. And now we move on to number 11, who is another confidential informant. Just quickly before we do that, though, I've had quite a few messages. I would just like to say that I appreciate the fact that, gents, hairdressers up and down America are being inundated with people going in asking for a Paul Capaldi. Not that I can do about that. It needed cut badly, and it's not that bad. So anyway, moving swiftly on. I noticed that my video yesterday about Mike Holbach has attracted quite a lot of attention. And again, it seems I need to make it perfectly clear. All I'm asking is this. What did the journalists in Wisconsin make of Mike Holbach and his grieving process lasting for possibly days? When one considers that here in the UK, when something similar was said by Maxine Carr, it busted the case wide open. Why hasn't that been looked at in much more detail by people over there in Wisconsin? And I think the answer is pretty obvious. That the journalists are merely the propaganda department of the state of Wisconsin. Journalists do not do a good job as journalists. They are quite happy to simply send out the propaganda generated by the state, quite happy to parrot them. As I say, if any of the journalists did have any suspicions, who are they going to report to? The police? The sheriff's department? It's not easy over there. Hopefully we'll start to get some answers. I think it's going to be particularly interesting how the state respond to Kathleen Zellner's latest brief. I think it's going to be very interesting to see what they can say, because as far as I can see, whereas Angela Tsukovich can just say deny without giving any plausible reason whatsoever, the state of Wisconsin now has to come up with some serious answers to what Kathleen Zellner has pointed out. Anyway, let's swiftly move on to victim number 11. Immediately, this victim in the report thinks that Ken Kratz is a pervert, a predator, a sex addict, and a narcissist. Well, I don't think any of us would disagree with any of that. They met through Match.com. Now that was interesting as well. I forgot to write that down, but she was not impressed by the fact that Ken Kratz had completely lied about his appearance, trying to present himself as being completely different than the person he was in terms of appearance. But as I say, appearances aren't really that can be overlooked. It's inside what counts most of the time. Anyway, this lady was contacted around about May 2010. She was separated. She was going through divorce proceedings because her husband had been arrested for sexual assault, false imprisonment, battery, and disorderly conduct. When she met Ken, she felt quite vulnerable and talked all about her vulnerability in the date, and therefore she was not interested in a physical sexual relationship, and Ken Kratz seemed genuine at first. But, as usual, as the evening wore on, he became slightly more disrespectful and eventually sexual in nature. After the date, Then the sexting begins with, believe it or not, same as Stephanie Van Gogh, I'm the man, I have everything to offer you. Why don't you just come to Appleton and F me? Occasional polite chat. There was. She was looking for help with her case with the husband. But Ken Kratz would always veer down that road. We know the road that he's on about. He once wrote that he was horny. But also, presumably because he's that horny, he wants to date multiple women. And he described to her exactly what he wanted to do. And we all know what he wanted to do. We've seen it countless times. As I say, she wanted help with her divorce papers. But on a couple of occasions, Ken would say, oh no, not now. Let's move on to going down that road. She found him to be a very controlling person. Again, she asked for help with the victim impact statement. Guess what? Down that road. Let's have sex. She replied with, let's play golf. As I say, he was told multiple times that she wasn't interested in a physical relationship at that time. But multiple times he went back down that road. She certainly felt that he completely abused his power on the date they went to. Quite happy to drink and drive. When she said, you know, are you not concerned? I mean, he's like, well, I'm the prosecutor. He was always full of his own importance. We know that. He told her on one occasion that I'm the most notable prosecutor in Wisconsin history, alluding to and talking about the fact that he had prosecuted Stephen Avery. And I would say that in actual fact, Ken's correct. He is the most notable prosecutor in Wisconsin history, but not for the reasons that he would like to be noted. He is noted as the most notable prosecutor in Wisconsin history because of his excessive career, 25-year career as a sexting pervert. But as we know, it's his character. It's what he is. Ken Kratz is what Ken Kratz does. It's in his DNA. You know the rest. It's in his sweaty DNA. Bye for now.